Collective, let's clear some smoke. We're going to do your almost personal love reading for this week. See what the divine wants and needs you to know at this time. All right, let's get into it. What is the energy, main energy at the center of things right now? And what is, give me 4 cards for the energy surrounding this. Darling, I do hope that all is well and that you are doing well at this time. So at the center of the energy for romantic love, we actively listen to each other, valuing each other's perspectives and thoughts. Good. So whatever is on the table right now that you guys are discussing, work, talking about, planning, etc., you all do value each other's mindset, being, state of being, um, ideas, abilities, and now you're actively seeking to process, and actively you process that information from each other. So you both are in a space of where you actively give and receive when it comes to perspectives and thoughts. Good. Now, what's going on though is yelling. I'm mad at you and I'm unhappy and I want you to feel as badly as I do. Okay. So something may have been said out of turn. The other person, which one of you may not have realized that you said something that was offensive to the other person. And there was some yelling involved. But it may have been a distraction from what was really the cause of the pain or the issue or the discomfort in the other person. And it might have tried to just deflect from that and start poking at the person who caused the slight, albeit unknowingly. But it may be in a position of where the other person who's yelling or began yelling in the situation during the conversation felt like the other person should have been aware of that. Okay. But sometimes, a little bit of grace. Sometimes you forget. Your mind can't, be everywhere all at once. Unfortunately, it is, but not consciously. So sometimes you don't process it or be like, oh, I didn't even recognize I said it till after the fact because you're following a train of thought or getting your point across, and you may not be thinking about all the other little ripple effects that it's having, what you're saying, or how you're saying it, or the energy that you're saying it is having. So we honor each other's perspectives, even when we differ, creating unity and diversity. Beautiful. Once again, supporting this centering energy, the anchoring energy here of valuing each other's perspective and thoughts. So you both know that you add value to the situation, that you're going to add value to the situation and bring your point and your perspective, etc., to the table. But right now there is this discomfort going on. Love, I love you and I only want you to add happiness to your life. Wonderful. This is what you both want for each other. And then grapevine, I heard something you're going to be interested in. Okay. So these two may be connected here in the sense that someone may have said something, slipped up and said something that they weren't, the other person didn't think that they were privy to, or brought up something in that way. So let's see. Whatever the discussion is something that is necessary and that it has to happen. Because this energy here indicates that, especially in coming to the table with love, as another anchoring energy behind is the energy and the force behind all of this is a comforting thing to know, because you know that this person is moving in a manner of which that is to benefit you, them, and the relationship, whoever's in having the discord right now, the one who's yelling or started the yelling or is in a place of discomfort because they're not speaking up about whatever it is that happened. Now, and the other person instinctively went on defensive, of course, because you're feeling attacked when the person began yelling. So that is where this is probably what this is going to all fall into. Like, how do we get to this place? And then how do we get out of this place? We in the weeds. So how do we get out of here? All right. So deep breath, darling. Open mind, open heart. And let's get ready to receive what the divine wants and needs you to know most. Divine may have 10 cards regarding more details regarding this energy. Okay. All right. So, starting out as a Six of Swords in reverse is the energy right now. And in the thought space, it's like you're stuck in a tough spot right now because there's this energy of wanting to stand on business, meaning you meant what you said, but you didn't mean to offend the person who, let's put it this way. Let's just do it in general. Hold on. Back up. Back up. What was said that offended the person who began yelling in the course of this discussion or the back and forth here? The person is standing on business in terms of the energy and the intentionality of what was said. Maybe it was said haphazardly, callously. The wording was not ideal. Okay, the speech was not very seductive. And so this is where the person who caused the offense needs to check the gate and say, there's a better way to say things. You don't have to be just so flat and matter of fact about things. I mean, a little spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. And there's this energy, it feels like a resistance of like, well, I said what I said. I'm like, yeah, but it's not, communication is about being effective. You can talk all day to the top of your lungs and everything else, and no one will listen unless you know how to communicate. You know your audience, and you know how to communicate with them effectively. Okay? If you're with yellers and screamers, then okay, well, you're going to need to yell and scream because otherwise they're probably not going to pay much attention to you or they're not going to respect you because you got to yell and scream above the din to even be heard. Now, and some people have such a magnetizing energy that they can be completely quiet and move quietly and smoothly, but their actions and their energy is very loud. So if you're not that person, you don't carry that kind of energy, you have to adjust in order to make sure that what you need from what you're trying to communicate is you get your needs met, right? But not in a manner of which that offends anybody. I mean, you have to be 100% honest, but yet and still 100% respectful. The same way you would want to be communicated with. The other person who is in offense with the Six of Swords, putting up the closing the gate on moving forward with any other further thoughts here, moving forward from a space of discontent into a place of positivity and contentment and productivity and progression. With rightfully so, because you have to stop and where it's at. You have to really address it when it happens. However, once again, effective communication, when you are bothered or hurt by something or someone, you first have to, of course, neutralize the threat within yourself, meaning when you speak about this again, you have to have yourself managed in a way that your emotions, whatever emotions you express during the time that you're speaking on said thing, it's effective. It needs to push the situation and the conversation forward. Sun card in reverse, Seven of Wands in reverse. So the Sun card being in reverse is delayed happiness, delayed movement here with the Six of Swords and the thoughts. Still loving, hence that energy of we honor each other's perspectives. Even when we differ, I love you and I only want to add to your happiness. This is what you both harbor for each other internally. That is the intention. So there's nothing to be afraid of or worried about, but it is just an action of the flesh. Remember, we're celestial divine beings having a human experience and they don't always align. The ego can muck about and get confused and start doing things and go into this auto protect mode and start firing off, right? And you're like, wait, whoa, I didn't want that to. But that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to protect the self. However, you still do have the final show, final call, and you have to set your intention. The Seven of Wands in reverse would indicate there is no defensiveness with each other, so there is no instance of feeling unsafe to talk or broach the conversation, but there is this pause about how to move forward when, again, the person who caused the offense really does feel like what they said was what they wanted to say, but there is a time to reconsider how the messaging went, right? If you don't say it effectively, you won't be heard, or it'll be misconstrued, okay? And you don't want that. Now, the King of Swords being here, mastermind with the Hierophant, absolutely. There's a time for some spiritual and divine connection to balance the logic with the spiritual energy, the divinity within yourself, to find that balance first. Really realign yourself with what your needs are and what you want and how you want to be met and how you want to be seen and how you want to be heard and how you want to matter to your person. And then approach the conversation again, or begin to open up the doors of communication again with a simple apology. Okay, I apologize if I offended you, or how I said what I said offended you. I could have said it in a better way. I could have said it in a gentler way. Okay, if you can get the same just point across and saying it in a better, cleaner, gentler, more effective way, do so. Anything other than that would just be pride and just wouldn't be smart. And also the person who was offended is also tasked with consulting divinity within yourself, okay, to say that I'm smarter than this, and I know that the person across the table from me is my lover, right, in every aspect, and I love them. And so, yeah, they said it's stupid, okay, but I know their intentions. It's my and I need to check it again, even if you said it 100 times, because that could also be the issue. Like I've told you this 100 times, don't talk to me like this. It's 101 until they get it, okay. And if you're tired of that, then it's time to consider finding the resources to create a better approach to telling them that you don't like it. Now, the Knight of Wands in reverse and the Eight of Wands in reverse. This is about being temperate, okay? Not allowing your emotions to explode in a way that would cause things to become negative, that would suck all the life, the air, and the energy out of the environment around you. To Eight of Wands as a pause or a cessation in arguments or conversations at this time. It really more so feels like a pause with this Six of Swords in the action and in thought life. Like I'm just pulling back from it, taking a few steps back to gain some perspective and really take a look at things and be like, okay, take the first 3 steps back is to say, okay, let me address what's wrong with me. Then the next 3 steps back is to say, okay, what's wrong within the situation? How do we resolve it? So that's what I feel like this energy is here. Strength card in reverse as well is a fear that you won't be able to find your middle ground and find the balance to move the conversation forward and really get to the result that you guys wanted from even beginning to plan this or get this conversation started. The ultimate result was to get something done or to get something resolved or to get something in place. And so now there is this fear there a little bit about whether or not this argument that's going on, this disagreement in the middle of the discussions is going to pause everything and you have to go back to square one. But with these court cards as well as these the arcana that are out, or this arcana that's out with, you have 2, Sun and the Hierophant, you're in a good position. It's just a matter of facing the fear and dealing with the tough conversation, which a lot of people don't like to do. Like when you hear news, even from a reader or reading, you want to hear, well, tell me I'm going to be rich. Tell me I'm going to be beautiful. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's going to fall? And it's like, yeah, I get that. It's necessary. Okay. Because you need the pep talk. You need the attaboy, attagirl. And at the same time, you have to break everything down around you and get to the minutia in order to get to that successful place. It doesn't just show up. Because if you just get catapulted into a place of success and you still have all this other baggage and these loose threads and all this raggedy energy around you, you're not going to be able to enjoy what you want the universe to give you. Okay. Knowledge of self is the highest intelligence there is. So, Princess of Wands to the King of Pentacles. Yeah. forging a new path. This energy is going to shift here because this pause is here. And you all are realizing that you're not going to spew the energy that, or the anger, and that's going to dissipate. That's just hurt feelings. Yours to deal with. We got to get to the point. And realize that the Princess of Wands is here about what was our initial process. We're trying to move forward with something. We're trying to achieve a goal. Let's get back on task, but we have to adjust our course. And then for the weather, and the weather was the argument. Now that the cloudy storms have passed, we can come outside into the light. Birds are chirping, sun is shining, weather's sweet. Let's sit under the tree and talk it through. With the King of Pentacles energy, the wise and learned king, who possesses the knowledge of all things. Right before you get to the divinity of the Emperor energy, he's mastered the material world. And so this is to say and it's right under the Hierophant. So when you align yourself with the divinity within yourself, get back to the main focus of love and care and commitment to each other, everything will then begin to come into alignment. But you must allow the energy to shift. There's no need to force the conversation. You have it when you're ready. If you force the conversation, you will be ill prepared. You'll get triggered, and it'll go right back to where it was, probably worse, because you're like, I tried to talk it through, and that's going to be your intention, but you weren't prepared. Wait until you're calm. Everything does not around the relationship does not have to start falling apart because you all are having a disagreement in one section of the house. I see that happen a lot with people, like we're fighting. You're having a disagreement about something that has nothing to do with it. It's a small portion of 100% of the game. So do not allow that to distract you. Compartmentalize it. It's not pushing it under the rug. It's not doing anything until you both have processed everything. You're coming back to the table like, okay, I want to get this resolved. Now, I don't want to fight about it. I want to get something off my chest. That's what's for you and God to talk about on either side of this, okay? Your displeasure or you don't like this, like God, the divinity within you will help you to resolve that. You know this person, like you know almost as well as you know yourself. So, chess moves, darling. All right. Strategy moving forward. Divine strategy moving forward. May we have 4 cards, please. 3 of Swords in reverse. Yes. The 2 of Pentacles. The Magician. Oops. And let's see here. Okay, 3 of Swords in reverse is saying that the time is coming where peace times are here, and that you want to forgive each other and move forward from the so-called heartache, the misalignment. 2 of Pentacles is now finding that place to balance each other's energy out. Okay, to see how you can give and receive to each other. You both can't lead. Notice how the yin and yang energy is here to balance within yourself. Then you can balance the energy between the 2 of you guys in the environment. The Magician is here. Then as above, so below. You must be mindful of what you're thinking, saying, and doing. Do not continue to spew this fake ass energy about the fact that you're upset. Your feelings were hurt. You got cut. You got scratched. Okay, great. Let's clean off the wound. Put some Neosporin on it. Bandage it, and let's get to the healing. Those things have. The Neosporin is a spiritual energy nature between you guys. The Band-Aid is the conversation that you need to have in order to protect and heal it. And then we have the Hangman in reverse. There's no need to hem and haw over things any further. It's time to take action, to consult the divinity within yourself, pray, meditate, get focused on what you really want to happen between the 2 of you all. Set your intentions, visualize it, and then take action to resolve the situation, and be ready to understand that what you need to do is wave the white flag. Let the person know it's time for peacetime and you want this thing to get resolved. Be ready and prepared for the fact that they may not initially respond like, okay, great, I'm ready to talk about it. Because more than likely you may be ahead of their energy or vice versa. They may come to you first. But just smile and say to yourself, well, that's so, y'all, you want to talk about it? Okay, give me a minute, let me get processed, and then we can sit down and talk about it. Okay, because I think we often forget, you don't have to fight. You can say, give me a minute and let me think it through. Some things do get heated. It gets out of control. That's fine. But eventually the argument is going to end and the air will calm, right? And when that's happening, you know what I'm saying, you come back and try to have an effective conversation about it. It takes a lot of practice. It's not an easy thing to do, but you have to start somewhere. Okay? All right. I appreciate you, darling. Thank you so much for your valuable time and energy and your attention. And do remember that back then is not now. Always be in harmony with your surroundings. Stay sucker free. Hope to see you again.